When the student is ready, the teacher appears. When we are ready for God, God is ready for us. In today's gospel passage, Jesus says, "No one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him." John chapter 6, verse 44. That means it is God who draws us to himself. In the story of Philip and the Ethiopian Eunuch, we see this play out perfectly. God had already prepared the heart of the Ethiopian eunuch to receive his word. God also drew Philip to his chariot to explain more details and offer him the sacrament of baptism. You see, in this life, there are really no coincidences. Things do not just happen. Everything happens for a purpose. Everything happens for a reason. God is in charge. God is in control of all the events that happen in our world. God sees. He controls. He supervises. He organizes. God can speak to us, even from our experiences. When things happen to us, it is good for us to sit down and say, "God, what are you trying to tell me through this experience?" Like we noted yesterday, even from our seemingly negative experiences, God can bring something good out of it. Sometimes opportunities come in disguise. You see, it wasn't just by coincidence that Philip met the Ethiopian eunuch. There was a divine hand at work. It wasn't by coincidence that you are a Christian or that you have the privilege of listening to this message right now. God is the master planner who never stops drawing us to himself in our day-to-day activities. All we have to do is to say yes to God. That is to cooperate with God. That is to listen to his word and walk with him. In fact, the Ethiopian eunuch cooperated with God, and that was why God drew Philip to his chariot. He said yes to God. First, he came to Jerusalem to worship God. Secondly, he decided to read the Bible. In fact, his yes to God began by his free decision to open the Bible and read the Bible. He was reading the scriptures, but he couldn't understand. And God had to bring someone, because God saw and he was willing to cooperate. And so God brought Philip in order to explain to him the scriptures. When you are ready for God, God will bring people into your life. God will bring events and circumstances that will make everything just go well for you. When you make God your priority, you'll be surprised at the kind of things that will begin to happen. And you cannot but say that truly God cares for those who make him their number one. God will put your situation first if you put him first in your life. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. The question is, am I really ready for God? Am I ready to get closer to God more than ever before? Am I willing to break free from my addictions and old ways? Like the Ethiopian eunuch, have I decided today to start flipping through the pages of the Bible? Do I even have a Bible plan? And when I read, do I ask God for understanding? Dear friends, if we are ready for God, God will immediately be ready for us. All we have to do is to open the door, because He's standing at the door of our hearts knocking. Revelation chapter 3 verse 20. Finally, in today's gospel passage, Jesus drops a bombshell by revealing to the crowds in clear terms that He Himself is the bread that comes down from heaven. That for us to have life, we must eat His flesh and drink His blood. Jesus did not say, "It is like my flesh," nor symbolic of my flesh. No, Jesus meant in unequivocal terms that He was going to give us His very flesh to eat and His blood to drink. Jesus even added that anyone who eats His flesh and drinks His blood will never die. Anyone who eats His flesh will never die. This is the bread that comes down from heaven, so that one may eat of it and not die. These are the words of Jesus Himself in our gospel passage. I am the living bread that came down from heaven. Whoever eats of this bread will live forever. And the bread that I will give for the life of the world is my flesh. John 6:50-51. Do you believe that by eating the flesh of Jesus and drinking His blood, you will live forever? Do you still believe that it is Jesus' flesh and blood that you receive in Holy Communion? May God bless His words in our hearts.
Amen.